everyone, Zeddy here again to do the brand new video, and we have new nerfs announced. Yet another nerf patch is going to go live for standard. I believe on July 14th it should go live, and this is, I believe, the 4th balance patch we've seen in the Ashes of Outland expansion cycle, which is unprecedented, which just shows how well balance tested this expansion was before it came out, primarily with Demon Hunter. So let's go over it, and I'll give you my thoughts on each one. So the first nerf that they announced was Dragon Queen Alexstrasza. I've been asking for this card to be nerfed for quite some time, and it has been changed. The prior battle cry, it has, you get 2 0-mana dragons in your hand. You will now get 2 1-mana dragons in your hand. Basically, it slows down the gigantic swing that Dragon Queen has. You play it on 9, it's a 9-mana 8/8. You can't play the other dragons, and then the next turn you can dump out your 1-mana dragons. It's a huge change. Like, the immediate impact of just slamming Dragon Queen and winning the game is kind of gone. Even on 10 mana, you can slam one other dragon, it's just not going to have the same impact. So, this card is actually not completely broken anymore. It's very good. It's still probably worth running in Highlander decks, but it doesn't outright scam the game. And the design on this card, I feel, is so egregious and so bad for the game that it's a change that I'm really glad they're making, and I'm interested to see how it plays out. I think Highlander decks take a huge hit with this, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, because Highlander decks are, you know, notoriously high rolly with their one-of abilities, and might open the way for some other archetypes to sneak in. We have Corsair Cache is now being nerfed as well. Originally, draw a weapon, give it +1/+1. Now it's give it +1 durability. So Ankar is now back to actually pre-nerf version. When you Corsair Cache Ankar, it'll be a 2/3 like it was when it originally came out. I like this change a lot. One of the biggest problems with Corsair Cache is the egregious amount of damage you get. Like with Wrench Caliber, it's 4 attack and 3 durability. That's 12 plus 20, 15 damage. You get 27 damage. And now Wrench Caliber, you go 3/4. You get 4 bombs, but only the 3 damage. It just reduces the damage output that these weapons are. It just scales way too high. You can almost flat out kill somebody with just the weapon damage alone on a lot of this stuff. I think the card's still very good. You still can tutor out your skipper and all that. Like Warrior, this is the only Warrior nerf, and Warrior is arguably the best class with Demon Hunter, and it's going to stay that way, I think. It's toned down quite a bit here, but you still can find your skipper, you can still find all that broken stuff. So yeah, Warrior is going to be pretty insane still. So yeah, like the change, but I think they might have needed another one for Warrior, but we'll see how it plays out. We have 3 more Demon Hunter nerfs, I think bumping that to like 15 total, which is ridiculous, but they're finally hitting some core cards. They're not tiptoeing around it, they're not doing sideways changes for the most part. These are significant Demon Hunter nerfs that finally, I think, will make the class not be the best in both formats. Why is this? Well, first off, we have Metamorphosis. Originally 5 mana, you get to deal 5 damage for each hero power twice over. And it was like a 7 mana Pyroblast. Now, it does 4 damage each time. So the reach is drastically down. It's only 8. So it's almost fair for its cost, but not quite. It's still insanely good. Like, it's probably still going to be auto-include in most Demon Hunter decks, but it's not Pyroblast for 7. It's 8 damage for 7, which is still really good. It's flexible. It just isn't as, like, ridiculous reach. So, should dial it back a little bit. I like the change. I was originally going to say it should go to, like, 6, but if they're dialing back the damage on it, I think it's fine. So I'm pretty okay with that change. Then we have Kane's Sun Fury. Originally 4 mana, 3/5 with charge, and it lets your minions bypass taunt. Now it's a 3/4. So now it's like, it doesn't feel as good just to play it on 4. It's a lot more vulnerable. It's basically not premium stats and upside. So its effect is the same. It has charge for the same amount of damage, but it's a lot worse of a turn 4 play. This one's a little bit more minor, to be fair. This is more of in line with the sideways stuff, but don't don't think that the 1 health isn't a big deal, because it is. Because one of the big strengths of the card is just slamming on a 4, and now it feels a lot worse. You might want to just save this to try and burst through some taunt, and honestly, Demon Hunter doesn't really have that problem, except for what the next changes that might make it more of a problem. We have the big one. This is the absolute biggest nerf in the patch. Warglaives of Azzinoth. This card has been a hard carrying Demon Hunter ever since the first balance patch. Demon Hunter was so broken on its first rendition, it didn't even run this card because he had 5 mana Skull, 5 mana Enten, you had the Lifesteal Warblades, there were 2/3s, you didn't need this weapon. Well, once that got nerfed, this has been a staple in every Demon Hunter deck. Odd Demon Hunter in Wild, it's like one of the best cards. It lets you control everything. You can't play this anymore because it's gone to 6 mana. It is now 6 mana. It slows this card down a lot, and it's a big deal. Like, if Demon Hunter has to wait till turn 6 to lock out their opponent with this weapon, it's like it allows other decks to build a board in that time, and typically can get out of range of just getting solo by Warglaives. This probably does like make this card not an auto include in every deck. I'm not even sure how much play it'll see, but I'm glad. Like, Demon Hunter should not have this tool where they get to control every aspect of the game. They still have the insane early game. They still have insane draw with Skull. They still have a lot of good stuff to do, but now they can't literally control every single aspect of the game from what I'm seeing. They're actually going to have to, if they lose board, they kind of have to work for it to get back rather than just play Warglaives and go face. So, love this change. This is a big deal. I think this is the change that will make Demon Hunter not the absolute nuts in both formats over 3 months into this class's release. But we'll see. They still have a lot of insane cards. Demon Hunter will still be fine. Don't get me wrong. Anyways. Now we have a mage card getting hit. Dragon Caster. 6 mana 4/4. Your next spell, if you're holding a dragon in your hand, it'll cost 0. Is now 7 mana. So can't cheat out a pocket puzzle box until turn 7 or 6 with a coin or whatever. Same with Pocket Galaxy and Wild, although that card isn't even really that good in that deck. With the Dragon Queen Alexstrasza nerf and this nerf, I think Reno Mage is going to be in for a pretty tough time in Standard. You probably don't run this anymore because like cheating out Power Creation and Deep Freeze for 1 mana doesn't, like, 1 turn earlier might not be great, but it still cheats out Puzzle Box, which is still busted. It can still cheat, like I said, cheat out Power and Deep Freeze just a little bit later. It's just more reasonable. I guess Puzzle Box doesn't come out as soon. So I guess it's fine. It'll probably still see play, but it is pretty damn slow. And since Hunter hasn't been nerfed in this patch, the aggro Hunter decks are going to be very popular. They're still very good. And with Demon Hunter being dialed in, we're still going to see a ton of aggro, which is what keeps these decks in bay. So, yeah, don't know how much Dragon Caster we'll see, but it's a good change. I just rather, they delete Puzzle Box from the game. Then we have Druid's Fungal Fortunes, the spell that draws 3 spells for 2 mana and discards any minions drawn. Well, now it's 3. So that's a big change. 3 mana draw 3 still really good, but it's like I've been playing a lot of Linecracker Druid in Wild. This hurts that deck a lot. I probably now cut Fungal again, and we go back to the prior build. So if you've been sad with Armor Druid in Wild, I think this gets impacted quite a bit. And Spell Druid, yeah, also gets dialed down a lot with this. Like, it's a big deal that it's 3, because like you could play even Ysera Unleashed and then innervate Fungal Fortunes and cheat out some dragons. You can't do that anymore. So yeah, Spell Druid's dialed back a bit. I think Overgrowth is probably a bigger problem than this, but this is definitely one of the most powerful cards in the deck, so it should help dial it back, as it definitely needs to be. And then we have 2 rogue changes, and of course, not Edwin. Edwin dodges yet another bullet, but we have the Galakrond Battlecry. So basically, all the cards you draw off of Galakrond, all 3 stages, you would draw them either 1 card, 2 cards, or 4 cards. They would cost 0 mana. They now cost 1. So you can't just play Galakrond and slam a bunch of 0 mana stuff. You have to set it up for the next turn. So you'll have a very powerful follow-up, but the turn you play it, you can't cheat out the 0 mana cards. I think this basically kills off Rogue. Galakrond Rogue. Like, you kind of needed this giant swing, and now you can't. And I think that's good, because this is super toxic and unhealthy. But yeah, Rogue's going to be in a rough spot. They're going to have to rely more on being like a tempo-based class. And this also shuts off, if the Galakrond's not that great, it shuts off the infinite lackey crap, which is also infuriating for any slower deck, especially Draconic Lackey being a thing. Yeah, this is a huge nerf. I'm interested to see how it plays out. Togwoggle still gets you 0 mana cards, by the way. So that's still... There's still 0 mana cards in the game, but at least the Galakrond's dialed back. You don't draw 4 and play 4 0 mana cards instantly. But yeah, very impactful. This is definitely the biggest nerf outside the Demon Hunter ones. Arguably more significant, but Warglaives is such an egregious card that I definitely would still put that one above it. So that's all the nerfs. No buffs. They're like, yeah, they're not doing anything. So let's nerf stuff to actually try and balance stuff. This will be the most impactful balance patch of this expansion. I am sure of that. I'm really excited to see how it plays out in both Standard and Wild, because Odd DH is very problematic in Wild as well. There's still a lot of problem cards. There's still a lot of issues, don't get me wrong. But at least it's a really good start. And for the most part, it's not tiptoeing around stuff anymore. They're actually nerfing again, and it's good to see. Let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. How you feel about the nerfs? Are you happy? Unhappy about it? I'll be very excited to see how it plays out. If you like the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day. Stay salty, my friend.